now the latest on the wide world of tropics. Hypo hurricane outlook for June the 11th. So we're kind of struggling to produce hypo hurricane outlooks, though. Nothing's really occurring at significant. Barbara is a category 2 that is expected to be its peak. However, it doesn't look like it's going to become a major hurricane as it originally was forecast. It looks like the models were right before when they said it was going to become a category 2. It has, but it's on a weakening trend now. But that doesn't mean that tropics are going quiet, as we have other areas to watch across the northern hemisphere. So first we're going to the North Atlantic, but there still is absolutely nothing here. 11th day of June, which means it's the 11th day of Atlantic hurricane season, and we still have absolutely nothing, not even an area of interest to speak of. We did have Invest 90L earlier, but it did not really form. But again, we're still seeing some tropical waves coming off, but the Saharan dust is really killing them off. So we might not see Andrea until July. Maybe this should have been the year the Atlantic should have gotten an early storm, because if it didn't get an early storm, which it did, it's not going to have anything until July at this rate. Forgive me, I meant to say it didn't get an early storm. Next in the Eastern and Central Pacific, Barbara is the main feature here. 110 miles per hour, pressure of 963 millibars. That makes it a Category 2 hurricane. Still the first hurricane of the season, but it did not make it to major hurricane status, so it's not the first major. Oh, and by the way, the stats on the bottom do include the Central Pacific, but the Central Pacific still had no storms, obviously, so that doesn't add anything to the count, though we could see something, as there is an area 40% chance in the next 2 and 7 days. Could that become Iona? Well, who knows what that will become, because a lot of Central Pacific AOIs just fail randomly, and others just randomly become a tropical storm for like 5 seconds and then dissipate. And then we have an Eastern Pacific AOI, which for some reason is not called Eastern Pacific AOI number 1. I might keep it like that. I might put Eastern Pacific in front of it so there's no confusion. But it has a 50% chance in the next 7 days, 0% in the next 48 hours, as we could see something similar to Barbara trying to spit up later on. So, Eastern Pacific's really active, though it is important to note that it is expected to get quiet here, and that might be when the Atlantic starts to shine. So in the Western Pacific, Invest 94W, actually no, it was 93W, has a 90% chance in the next 7 days, a 70% chance in the next 48 hours. Could we see Nimbus soon? Before July, surprisingly. I guess the Western Pacific decided it wanted to do something in June instead of being quiet, for which it recently has been doing these past years, having a quiet June. But it looks like it's awakening now. Next we have the... Okay, I got bored because the North Indian Ocean was being too quiet, but it's no longer the Sleepy Basin. The one time I put the Sleepy Basin text, I put that on the 10th, but I didn't do it outlook because I didn't have time. But I put that there because it was being very sleepy there. But it's not sleepy anymore. Invest 96A has I think a 20% chance in the next 7 days. I couldn't quite see because, guess what? It blacked out again, but I'm pretty sure it was a 20% chance or a 10% chance. I'm 99% sure it wasn't anything above a 30% chance. It is very close to the coast of India. Once again, Invest 96A. Could it become Indra? At this point, I don't even think it will, considering nothing has been really forming in this basin. So, in the North Atlantic, the first name up is Indra. Eastern Pacific's wait for Cosme. We could see that. Central Pacific. Is the Iona wait already over so quickly? We'll have to see. Western Pacific's way for Nimbus, and in the North Indian Ocean, it's Indra. That's all for today's Hypo Hurricane Outlook. We'll be back no later than Saturday. There is a good chance we'll be back tomorrow, depending on how things go.